Hello, all. Today we will be seeing the SEM to LLM important questions. The first subject is legal research methodology and legal education. And the first question is hypothesis in legal research. A hypothesis in the context of legal education is an assumption that serves as an idea of legal research, analysis, argumentation. It also examines principles, predicts outcome, tests applicability, develops reasoning, structure, arguments, understands evolution, various hypotheses, analyzes laws and precedents. Hypotheses in legal studies take different forms like descriptive, normative, etc. The formulation of hypotheses is the process for analyzing legal issues and guiding legal research. We will discuss different types of hypotheses used for structure, investigation, and analysis. The structure of hypothesis includes core components like identifying variables, statement of relationship, direction, and testable prediction. Common formats for structuring hypothesis. Examples of hypothesis structure: process of developing effective hypothesis, example process for developing hypothesis, challenges and considerations in hypothesis, case laws relating to the above hypothesis. This answer contains all the above details step by step to define hypothesis in a correct manner. Different types of hypothesis. The fishbone diagram shows the descriptive, normative, relational, and causal. The descriptive hypothesis predicts law's nature. It describes law based on observed patterns. Example: freedom of speech cases rely on Article 19 principles. Shriya Singhal versus Union of India challenged Section 66A of IT Act. It restricts online speech. SC struck down affirming descriptive hypothesis. It emphasizes importance of Article 19 and protected speech and other expressions. Normative hypothesis: it prescribes ideal law system. It guides reform, policy making, and advocacy decisions. It is influenced by social changes and values. Example: marital rape should be criminalized universally. Independent thought versus Union of India. SC criminalized marital rape in minors. Court supported marital autonomy, excluded consent exception in rape laws. Relational hypothesis: connection between legal as concepts and events. Correlation between two legal concepts explains factors impacting legal decisions and actions. Example: socioeconomic background and access to legal representation in criminal cases. Hossein Khatun versus Union of Home Secretary State in Bihar. Case highlights under trial lack of legal representation. Supreme Court upheld legal aid as a fundamental right under Article 21. Judgment led to legal aid reforms. Causal hypothesis proposes cause effect relationship in legal variables. It tests if one factor influences another in legal context. Causal hypothesis applied in legal studies and criminology. Example: stricter juvenile penalties reduce repeated offences. Likelihood: Sheila Barsey versus Union of India case addresses juvenile offenders' conditions and justice system reforms. Court emphasizes rehabilitation over punishment for juvenile reforms. Judgment reinforced rehabilitation over harsh punishment for juvenile reform. Formulation of hypothesis: identify legal problems, literature, preview, formulating hypothesis, defining scope variables, methodology, testing, and conclusion. identifying legal problem, clearly define legal problem. Example, the mandatory minimum sentencing reduce recidivism in juvenile offenders. Literature review, examine existing legal theories, examine case laws, read the articles related to it, should be grounded in current understanding. Formulating the hypothesis based on findings, purpose of a clear and testable hypothesis. Example, minimum sentence does not reduce recidivism among juvenile offenders. Define variables and scope, identify what will be measured or analyzed. It may include specific statistics, cases, outcomes, demographic factors. Methodology, outline a method for testing, involves case analysis, comparative law studies, empirical research, statistic analysis, testing. Detailed legal analysis, empirical testing, check if evidence supports or refutes the hypothesis. Conclusion based on findings, accept or reject hypothesis. This involves suggesting revisions or legal theory, policy recommendations, identify areas for further research. Types of hypothesis: simple, complex, null, alternative, empirical, directional, non directional, associative, causal, logical. Structure: identifying variable, statement of relationship, direction, testable, prediction. Conclusion: hypothesis is legal education permits critical analysis, structured law understanding. Engaging with hypothesis enhances analytical skills, challenges principles, proposes reforms. Each hypothetic type aids in legal research, exploring complex legal systems and relationships. Case law demonstrates practical, theoretical law dimensions, but prepare scholars to influence policies. The second question is significance of clinical legal education. The clinical legal education enhances practical skills. It bridges theoretical knowledge with real world practice, enables students to engage in live cases, builds legal research, advocacy, drafting capabilities, promotes experimental learning for law students' growth, trains future lawyers in ethical legal practices, facilitates access to justice in underserved communities, encourages pro bono work through students' involvement. CLE adapts law curriculum to contemporary needs, fosters social responsibility in legal professionals. Significance of clinical legal education: hands on training for law students, provides direct exposure to real case handling, develops legal practice readiness before graduation. Example, students assist clients in legal clinics. Bridges theory with practice, connects academic learning with practical experience, strengthens legal concepts through applied scenarios. Example, mock trials simulate real courtroom settings. Case law in Read DCW Law Students case focused on students involved in legal aid. Delhi University students engaged in legal practice. Students provided legal aid to underserved communities, raised issues of students representing real clients. Supreme Court examined limits on students' practice, allowed students under supervision in legal aid, recognized clinical legal education societal benefits, emphasize importance of hands-on legal experience, set precedent for supervised student legal aid, supported education value of clinical legal education, promotes access to justice, offers free legal aid to underserved populations, assist communities lacking proper legal representation. Example, legal aids clinics serve marginal communities. Case law, People's Union for Civil Liberties versus Union of India. Case addressed right to food as fundamental right, filed due to hunger and malnutrition issues, highlighted government's duty to ensure food security, focused on public distribution systems, effective implementation. Supreme Court emphasized food access to all, ordered free distribution during drought and distress, recognized right to food under Article 21, strengthened social welfare through judicial intervention, set guidelines for food distribution scheme, advanced human rights via improved state accountability, enhances legal research and writing skills, trains students in drafting legal documents, strengthens research skills in real case contexts. Example, students draft petitions for live cases, develops advocacy and negotiating skills, improves advocacy techniques through active involvement, prepares students for effective courtroom performance. Example, students argue cases in moot court, inculcates ethical standards and accountability, prepares students for responsible legal practices. Vishakha versus State of Rajasthan on workplace ethics. The case summary says that case dealt with sexual harassment. Vishaka filed complaint against her employer, alleged harassment by a senior colleague. Court highlighted need for workplace sexual harassment law, established guidelines for preventing of harassment, set out procedures for complaint redressal. Court recognized sexual harassment as a violation, emphasized employers' responsibility for safe work environment, led to formulation of sexual harassment laws, strengthened workplace ethics and women rights protection, encourage social responsibility, empower students to work on societal issues, builds empathy towards marginalized communities, students help with domestic abuse cases, enables skills in client counseling, enhances students' client interview techniques, builds rapport building and communication skills, student counsel clients on legal matters, contributes to legal reforms initiatives. CLE program supports public interest litigation. Student contribute to reforms through casework, case laws. MC Mehta Union of India on environmental basis. Case addresses pollution. While these are not required, actually provides pathways to public interest careers, motivates students towards public interest careers, highlights importance of social impact and law. Example, students join NGOs for legal advocacy. Conclusion, clinical legal education strengthens future legal practitioners, equips students with skills beyond classroom learning, fosters a sense of responsibility to society, enhances justice access for underrepresented groups, encourages students towards ethical legal practices, builds foundational skills for effective client advocacy, links towards professional career readiness, supports reforms via engaged student participation, benefits communities through pro bono legal aid, clinical legal education, vitalizes legal professionals' impact.